Okay, I guess we're gonna start at 8 o'clock.
Yep.
So welcome to Fireside at Dead. Uh, we've got some guests here tonight. Techman's already here, but we're going to be talking about that new ship Meridian. Some of you have it, some of you don't. There's been some opinions on the Riker Event Store. We've got some merging alliances that have happened recently, and we're going to talk about the road to 41. It's a little bit away for me, but some of us it's just around the corner, so it's a topic that's come up. Especially for a cook. Have you pulled the trigger on 40 yet?
Yeah, I pulled the trigger on 40 about a month and a half ago or so.
Oh, you're just kind of waiting for the timer to come out?
Well, no, it's a 114 day build, something like that, and I'm just letting it do its time, and I figure it takes about 4 or 5 months to build it. In that time, I'd have everything done that I need to, and that way I wouldn't have to waste any latinum or speed ups on it.
Yeah, I try to time that out too. Like, figure like I want to do this much research. It's gonna take this long to get there, so like that way you don't have to waste it. I've been going through like all of my speed ups lately on research.
Yeah, research, especially during a research event, I waste so much speed ups and latinum trying to just get the researches done during the research events, and that's allowed me to get most of my trees all maxed. But boy, is it costly.
Yeah, the times keep increasing, and the cost.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm on one right now that's a 22-day build, and I know that's nothing because I've already done researches that were 50 plus days.
Oh, and I thought that 28-day one I did a couple months ago was bad. Most of my averages are around like 9 or 10 days. So that's not too bad. But I pretty much use up everything I get through my dailies every day now.
Yeah.
But it's worth it because I'm finally getting behind some of those things they blockade your way to, like the gas efficiency research, and all the really good ones are blockaded behind like a lot of that's, especially Outlaw. They really like to hide things.
Yeah, that's actually something I was discussing earlier today with Mistaken Silence about the Outlaw Research Tree, because we were discussing the road to 41 and with the ships and stuff that it takes. And, we were looking at this list. The reason that we were talking about the list was Rev Deuce put out a video today talking about the road to 41 with a little checklist that he and DJ put up. And so we were going through the checklist and saying how much of it we actually agreed with and what we didn't agree with. Definitely one of those things we agreed with was you want to make partner on Outlaw and get to that G4 research because, just the G4 ship research alone to reduce the cost of those ships is a big deal. Welcome, Handy. Nice to have you.
Hello.
How you doing?
Pleasure to be here. I'm good. How are you guys?
Good.
Yeah, I really love your avatar. Is that your dog?
Yeah, that's Titan.
Yeah. I've got a little dog. I really never liked little dogs, but I live in an apartment, so I kind of have to.
Yeah, little
But he's
dog.
a good.
Little dog for the devil,
just torture your neighbors with a big dog. Screw it.
I'm a pit bull fan myself. I love pit bulls. They're adorable.
Yeah, you would.
I used to foster rescue pits until they found homes. So I fell in love with them.
Pits are great dogs usually.
Oh,
They've
they
been
are.
abused, and then they're little satans. But
No. I've retrained them not to be little satans. I've helped out dogs that were like bait dogs and breeding dogs, and they just want to be loved.
for sure, typically,
Yeah,
all dogs
most
just
dogs
want to
do.
be loved,
Yep, just like the
and
rest of them.
people for that matter.
Yep. But let's start with the Riker event store because I've had a lot of people ask me questions about that today, and see some positive reviews already on that.
Well, if you're higher level, I guess go ahead and buy a couple of the packs and go ahead and get as many Riker and Picard as you can with that, but because it's still going to be cheaper than trying to win it in one of the auctions, post 40 or 42 or whatever the bracket is.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a scary.
'Cause I can tell you right now, you ain't winning. There's no freaking way. You're grouped in with people like Inko and freaking Chemo and Kevin and blah 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 and Smooth and all the others.
You sound like someone who's been losing a lot lately.
Yeah, I haven't won any of those damn things because I'm not willing to spend $2,000 to win it. It's just a freaking officer. I'm not spending that kind of money on an officer.
I would agree. Now, one thing I was looking at today was the fact that both officers, Picard and Riker, you're limited to 25 shards on them. The cost of those 25 shards would be 187,500. You can buy the up to 2 packs of these Riker tokens, each one giving you 150,000. So basically, for $100 and a little bit of grinding with the events, you could get those 25 shards, which then leads you to believe that Riker in Scopely's head is worth $400, and Picard is worth roughly $700.
Yeah, which
And an ISS Jelly, if you were to buy the packs when they're available,
it
would
really
cost
chaps my ass though, is that
$800.
there's a bunch of level 39s and shit running around with Picard and Riker right now.
Not a whole lot because
no, but there's a few people out there that won the auction relatively easily, free to play players that won the auction, just because they save up and whatnot. Of course, they spent the resources and they won it fair and square, and I'm happy for them.
Oh, it's even more at the lower levels. I mean, we have members who are completely free to play in the 20s and such that have them because there's not as many people in those brackets. I mean, 39 is. I know that 40 is like 42 to 50, and that's a large number of people in that bracket. But the 39 bracket's probably the most populous. It's got well over 100 people in it.
It may be the most populous, but it also is where all the mostly free to play or almost completely free to play or free to play are. So if you spend a little bit of money, you could win the auction. Or if you have a bunch of materials saved up and got some upgrading and research and whatnot to do, you can. It's totally feasible to get it. But in my category, you're not getting it. There's no way you're winning unless you're dropping some serious coin or you have a lot of resources ready to spend.
So are you working on this grinding event to try and get more tokens?
I've been working all day. I just got home a little bit ago, so I haven't actually even looked at it yet. I mean, I glanced at it. I know that there's a grinding event going on, but as far as grinding events go, I usually don't do too well in them because I work. And to win those in my bracket, you basically have to sit there and grind all day and all night long, for the most part. Not always, but usually that's how it ends up going.
No, I feel your pain there. I was working on trying to keep up with Twisted today, which he blew everyone away with 2 Rikers going.
Yeah, freaking try hard.
Yeah, seriously. Everyone's at like 100,000 to 200,000 points. He's at 1,000,000 points.
Yeah.
You know, and then I realized it's a 2-day event, and I'm like, yeah, screw that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't even attempt. Like, it's just, I hate grinding like that, and it's just not worth it to me.
Well, it's
You
stressful.
know, for an officer.
I mean, you
Yeah,
have to just sit there and grind your teeth and just like a pit bull,
especially on a
in his mouth.
phone.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but on the plus side, this one isn't based on level. So, like, I was grinding hitting level 2 ships with my D3. Just had to have a Riker as captain and use a Romulan or Klingon ship.
Well, you get more. In mine, you get more points the higher the level, up to level 46, level 46. I think.
Oh, they didn't put a level requirement on the ships for ours.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, there's another. There's another FU from Scopely for high level players. They literally are making it impossible to get anything for free for higher level players, and they're forcing us to spend money. It's really disgusting, actually.
It is, because you guys
It's
already
their whole business model.
I know, but it's even worse lately. I mean, with these new officers and ships and skins and stuff,
I know. I felt
they're
this.
quite literally setting the brackets up to make higher level players have to spend money, and then we're watching all these lower level players getting it with little to no effort, and we're like, okay, that's cool. Thank you so much, Scope League. We can see you really appreciate us.
Yeah, we just had a member win the Stella skin, not even trying.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty bad when they should be kind of like kneel, taking a knee for you guys, because you're the guys kind of making this game stay afloat.
Well,
right.
I understand, making it to where I understand what they're doing, and I don't necessarily agree with it, but it is frustrating either way.
I mean, they have figured out how to milk the whales, that's for sure.
Yeah,
and they're really like doing it hand over fist, and it's like to the point it's gonna burn people out. Like, how many officers can you really release? Like, how many skins can you keep releasing and like keep frustrating the hell out of the whales? Like, people are gonna end up quitting.
Well, I don't think that's gonna happen, but I do see a lot of people just not even trying at all. They're like, oh, I ain't going for that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even gonna bother trying to get those officers. Eventually, I'll get it somehow. They'll just wait till they put out a pack some weekend to just buy it. They'll probably release a Picard pack, limited 2 or whatever for 50 blueprints, or I don't know. They'll do some crap like that.
I just wait until they're in the purple store that you can buy it with recruit tokens, because even if you get an officer, let's just say you're lucky enough to win an auction for a Picard or a Riker. I mean, they fucking suck until you hit, tier 2 or tier 3, and that takes a while.
Well, supposedly Picard when you first get him is just as good as Pike maxed out. I have not tested it because I don't have the officer, but supposedly that's what people are telling me.
Well, I mean, whatever. I just wait until they come out in their respective purple stores and then worry about them later, and not let it hinder my game.
I mean, that's kind of your only option unless you can go after an auction.
No, I just don't care anymore.
Well, that too.
That's my strategy. I don't care. So Scopely will release something new and shiny, and everybody will want it, and then realize that most, like 99% of the new stuff, is going to be a piece of crap. And then, time will go by and they'll release it into the respective chest stores, and then you're like, oh, okay, now I can get them and use them for the wave machine.
Hello,
Hi, welcome.
It's nice to be here, everyone. Try not to embarrass myself too much.
So before we get on to the next subject that we want to talk to you guys about, real quick, for people wondering about if they should get the Meridian ISO Warp Interlocked and Warp Reactor, only get those if you plan on having more than one Meridian. If you're just going to go with the free-to-play Battle Pass Meridian that's being given out, then you're already going to be given those when you hit levels 34 and 39. If you are planning on buying, or if you've already bought it in the game store, then that's what this is for, and only buy based upon the number of ships that you have, and that's only if you actually want to upgrade them all the way. If you don't care about that, then go ahead and just ignore that and just focus on getting your Picard shards. And I would say focus on the Picard shards, especially because the Riker shards, there's a very good chance that most of the server will be able to fully unlock Riker by the end of this arc. The solo milestone during the recruit Riker thing is fantastic. It gives you 10 shards right there. There's already been ample events giving out other number of shards. The battle pass is going to give shards. They very well may be giving out all 100 shards free to play during this arc.
Oh, you're hot micing.
Yeah, Singularity, you got to mute when you're not talking.
Oh, sorry. I'm a noob. Forgive me. I don't know how I'm doing. What I'm doing. Oh, this must be this button.
Yeah. So that's really important to think about before you go and get those. With the Riker, it's definitely going to be, not definitely, but it's a very good chance it's going to be a free-to-play unlock, or mostly free-to-play unlock this month, based upon the way that they've been giving those shards out already in the first week. So I would say use all of your tokens on Picard, because every little bit helps to get to that 180, because that's a ridiculous number.
Well, you can only get 25 shards of Picard.
Exactly, but every little bit helps long term.
Of course. I did it. I mean, well, I got 20 shards, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I put mine. But we'll see. We'll see if they get them unlocked by the end. If not, take the Techman approach. Just don't care.
Well, there's also going to be the event store at the end of next month for the entire arc. But aside from that, let's segue based on what we were talking about before into, I was listening to DJ's podcast this morning, and a large number of people they are discussing if they actually want to quit the game. They're calling this the mining arc because of the Meridian, and getting overwhelmed and bored with the game. So tell me about your thoughts on if the game is pushing people more to want to stay or to want to quit.
I mean, personally, I don't hear anybody talking about quitting. But
do you think it can be too overwhelming with everything that they've done, or with people constantly hitting each other, like what we were having happen over the weekend with the Armada event?
I mean, it's annoying, sure, but I don't see it as a big deal. I mean, I think there needs to be kind of a shift in the way we see OPL. And I mean, for the most part, nobody complains about base rating, and OPL should probably just be the same.
I know there's some servers that have made ice agent hunting against row, so no OPL hunting in territory is what I heard. Do you think that works, or do you think that's works against the mainstay of the server?
I think that's a little silly, but mainly because I don't believe in limiting people's play. I mean, if you want people to quit, then sure, go make a whole bunch of rules and tell the pirates that they can't play here. I mean, or if you want a nice, healthy server, then make it playable for everybody. Meet somewhere in the middle. And the middle is OPL is OPL.
Yeah, and I think that'd be limiting some people of their resources. Like, for instance, our alliance doesn't have access to ISO 3. Some alliances don't have access to ISO 2 or ISO 3. And that's
Right,
literally
but
the only way to get it.
you're getting 50% of what you're able to get in a day as far as refining from 1-star ISO alone. And then
True.
from 2-star, you get up to about 80 something percent. And then 3-star is like less than 20% of what you're able to refine a day.
Yep. And I ran into some away missions that required some raw ISO 3. So I went out and I got some for the mission.
Sure.
Do
You
now,
know,
do you
and that was
think?
my only access to it. And
But do you think
I
it
don't
was worth
OPL
it?
hunt though. Oh, to just go get the ISO for the mission?
Or do you
Sure.
think the mission gave you a good enough payout before having to go hunting for it? Or would you
Yeah, it
better
was
with
the ISO resin that I don't have any other access to. If I had another way to get it, like I don't like OPL hunting. Like I hate
And
looking
most
for a
people
node.
don't. I would say 90% of people don't like to go hunting for ISO or don't like to go OPL hunting, period. But that's their prerogative. But
Yeah.
you know,
I
the people that play this game because they like to go steal shit. I mean, I don't do it, but that doesn't mean that we should tell those people they're not welcome here.
yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
You know, it keeps the game interesting. I mean, if you take every single aggressive player out of the game, you know, think of how boring this game would be.
True. I had a guy say that if he could do it, he would make raiding part of rules of engagement.
Meaning what?
And
You can't raid?
yeah, so many
Well,
people would quit playing this game.
he's short, and that person has never actually thought about it then. It's a knee-jerk reaction. It's a, you know, I don't like my stuff getting stolen. Well, you know, this is the game we play. I mean, Scopely's the one that made the rules. We've made our own server rules in the interest of improving people's enjoyment of the game, all types of people, right?
It's the greater good, basically.
Right, exactly. I mean, and I know that's, you know, kind of a, what's the phrase I'm looking for, the word I'm looking for. At any rate, it's kind of a hug it out kind of mentality, which isn't usually the way I go, but I do see the need for a nice healthy server and different players of different types. And if you single out any one type of people, it's just a slippery slope. You know?
Yeah, I just think people that have got this new ship, they're just getting angry at first because people are hitting their
Oh,
ship.
I did. Oh yeah, first day I was furious. Like,
Yeah,
God darn it, I just got this thing and I'm getting blown up left and right. I'm sending out messages and bugging people and oh yeah, and I had to like check myself.
I had a guy send me a message, that one who was harassing me. He sent me a message saying, "It's not my fault you were stupid enough to spend money on this stupid ship."
Well, and that person's a dick, so whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what DJ did? He put up some screenshots. I listened to his show. I don't always listen to his show, but he put up some screenshots of Vidar attacking his ship and losing because he put a PvP crew on it, and his Meridian was literally 300,000 power shorter than the Vidar that hit him.
Yeah,
And
and
had
I
two
think that
people
Vidar
lose.
had but didn't that Vidar have like a hostile crew on it?
I'm not sure, but
Well,
think that's a pretty
for
interesting
one,
tactic.
the Vidar is a squishy ship. Like it's not meant for battle at all. And two, I have to agree with whoever said regarding if you put the Meridian out there and it keeps blowing up because you're going OPL, maybe it's time to stop using the Meridian for mining and idling in your game.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, if you're going to use the Meridian, you literally have to sit there and stare at it. And
Yeah.
I would recommend for those people to go buy a couple of them. And you know what I mean? If that's the ship you want to use, you want to do it fast and get it over with, you're just going to have to sit there and stare at the screen, sit on your thumb and wait for somebody to come along.
The Meridian is almost reminiscent of the Botany Bay when you had to do active mining. Remember that fun game?
Exactly. So that's what this ship is. If you don't want to do that, then don't use the ship. It's going to be that simple.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Seems easy enough.
But you're not going to be able to use it like a faction miner. You're just not. I mean, if you want to use a faction miner with a high protect limit, then that's what you use, and it takes a lot longer. Or you use the Meridian and you sit there and stare at it. It's just one of those two choices. Otherwise, yeah, you're going to get super pissed and frustrated because people are going to come take your shit.
When the Meridian first came out, I went OPL hunting with my Vidar, naturally. And I went around and I hit in one particular person. I forget his name, was ES or something, but it was in Nona.
ES
About
Black.
10 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes later he came by and blew my ass sky high. And we had a little conversation. He expressed to me that there's a lot of the gentleman agreements going on, at least for the ISO event. So me being me, I apologize. I'm like, all right, I'll keep that in mind. And
So
I stopped.
what we did that first day is I just told everybody in Nona, I said, hey, as far like for right now, let's during ISO mining specific event, just don't go hitting OPL. It's not worth the salt. I'm tired of the PMs. I don't want to hear it. And so that's the route we took for now. It's probably going to change real soon, but it's just specifically if there's an event for mining ISO. And it was only that first 2 days or whatever, and we haven't seen it again yet. So
I did ask Hutch to focus on hitting Twisted Evil for me. But that was a personal gain.
We do that for data mining events. Like, we ask people not to OPL hunt for that.
yeah,
I think it's a sick move to do it in Yarda, but it's not, there's no sense in making a rule about it.
Yeah, I mean,
here's the thing. If you know 90% of people are going to get pissed about it, then you probably should avoid doing it.
We definitely do the same thing with us as well.
Unless you want the heat. If you want the heat and you're okay with the heat on you and your entire alliance, then go for it, man. But you're gonna have people chomping at the bit to get you back or get your team back. So it's just that simple.
Right. Or if you don't, like you said, if you don't care, have at it.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't care, have at it. But you're probably gonna have some pissed off teammates because it's just not necessary. I mean, it depends, right? See, this is a mining event, so you're not getting any points for stealing it. All you're doing is choosing in the middle of an event where everybody's trying to score. You're choosing that moment to go OPL hunting. I mean, you're totally taking advantage of everybody and being a little bit of a dick. But if that's who you are, I mean, and we all know who those people are on the server, whatever. But for the people that aren't that way and are thinking to themselves, no, I don't want to piss people off, then don't go do it. You know what I mean? I know it's tempting to take advantage of the situation when every other ship is way OPL, but you got to realize you're going to piss a whole bunch of people off.
There was a mechanic for a mining event where you had to actually dock your ship in order to get points. I would love to talk to Scopely about that, but I just don't care about sending a customer service request. But I think that would be a much better mechanic. You actually have to dock your materials to your base in order to score points instead of just mining.
Well, and I agree with that. I think that would be fun. And I also think it would be fun if they wrote into the event and gave you points for stealing. That would be
Well,
fun.
Well,
Well,
they
this-
used to do that with the LAT
this-
event, but
Right.
they still do it, but it's not any more points than it is for mining it. So it's kind of
Well, and also getting someone
it's
OPL
pointless
on
at
a
that
board is much harder these days.
What's
Yeah.
that?
I feel like getting people OPL on a divorce is much harder given the higher cargo protected cargo level
Well, of course, yeah.
and the faster mining speed. So people finishing the node in a few minutes with a max cargo and warping away.
Right.
So it's much harder to do that, which is why the points I think went down. But you do that on an ISO mining event, or maybe add ISO mining to Monday mining, and add a general steal any OPL thing, and you might have a change there in the way that the event goes.
No, you just have the same mechanic. You got to dock the resources. So if you have a very low protected cargo miner that you have to use, then everybody's going to steal it until they hit their base. So you'll see a lot of base camping. You'll see a lot of interesting kind of tactics that people would use. So I would recommend Scopely do
That would be a nice change.
that. They'll never do that. They're stuck in their ways.
I mean, anything that creates, infighting and people getting mad at each other, they would consider that. Because the more pissed people get, the more money they spend.
Yeah, people spend money when they're angry. I mean,
Absolutely.
Tiger had to talk me off a ledge the other day when I was dealing with AK. When I was really pissed dealing with AK and TV, and I was just like, I think I want to go up to 40 or something like that, and just get one of those ships. And Tiger's like, no, don't.
Well, I got a question for you. So AK's account changed. The name changed today.
Yeah.
And AK also told everybody that he has quit the game and uninstalled the game a few days ago.
DV said that, I thought.
So, well, I talked to AK.
Okay.
And AK told me this directly. So, supposedly AK's quit. I asked him if he sold his account. He said it doesn't matter if I did or didn't sell my account, but I haven't been playing in days. So somebody's playing his account. Either it's him and he's full of shit, or he sold his account.
I don't know. If he sold his account, that was really fast. And Scopely doesn't normally work that fast, especially on the weekend.
I think he's still playing under a different name. And
I do too, because I saw him hunting hostiles in Deep Space this afternoon where I was hunting hostiles, and he was using the same name as the one that Emerald showed me from that battle log he had with him.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he hit me for OPL under the name of AK early this morning, and then halfway through the day, the name changed, and he's trying to tell people he hasn't been playing in 3 days.
I believe he hadn't been playing in 3 days, but I also believe that Scopely wouldn't have changed the account over to someone else that fast.
Well, no, if
that's not how it works.
You sell your account to somebody,
you just give
then
them the
they
login
change
info.
the name. Yeah.
I mean, he could have given it away to somebody also. I mean, he could have just given it to somebody. Or a family member could be playing the account, or who knows.
Yeah, but when it's linked to your Google account, it means you're giving someone information or access to all your Google info if it's linked to that, or your Facebook. That's why what you normally do is you go and log on. You take like a new phone, you log into the game, it brings up a new account, you send a message to Scopely with a screenshot of your old account, say, hey, I got a new device, this is my account, can you please put it onto this device? And basically they would go and merge the two accounts. And give
usually that only takes 12 to 24 hours. It don't usually take that long.
I know, I just figured because it was a weekend, it might take them longer.
Well, if he hadn't been playing in 3 days, it's very possible that he did have that done.
Yeah,
I just thought it was interesting. I don't know. I don't really care. I tried prying out of him the truth, but he didn't feel like telling me.
We'll see how he plays.
Yeah, maybe he's deciding to change his ways, but didn't want to admit that it was stupid of him to be doing that stuff.
I don't know. Based on the way AK has been in the past, I really truly believe that I want to believe that if he wanted to just play the game, he would just tell people, "Hey, I'm still playing the game," and he would just lay low. But who knows? I don't know.
Well, only time will tell based upon his actions.
Yeah, I mean, he's still on Discord, so
Yeah.
Yeah, but like what you were saying before, I think you were saying this yesterday, that people get bored and they quit doing that kind of shit.
absolutely.
Like you said, it's boring to go hit miners all day.
Well, of course it is, and it's so if you're not getting a reaction out of people, so I mean, after a few days of trying to argue with you and talk to you, people just get resigned to the action. So they're like, okay, whatever. I mean, that's why wars, if they're either they get resolved in the first week or so, or they end up lasting for months and months, because it just, I mean, as people, we form a habit after about 2 weeks, give or take, depending on the person. So if something's going on for a couple weeks, it's just going to become part of your gameplay, and you just don't care anymore. You're not going to waste time thinking about it and obsessing over it for most people. So if that happens, then it doesn't really matter what that person's doing. Nobody cares anymore. Even if it affects their gameplay, because they're already used to it. So if you're trying to make a point on the server, you can get a lot further with words than actions in the game and going against the grain. I mean, going out and dry hitting, people just don't care anymore. They're like, whatever, dude.
Yeah, but I said that to somebody recently. I said, Diplo, this is always the better way to go. Words of wisdom. It's not the only way anything ever gets hashed out in the end.
No, I mean, you usually just have to talk it out. But
Like nobody does that like final hit that wins the war. You know what I mean? Like,
well, of course not. There's no winning in this game, anyways.
well, Scopely's the
Yeah,
winner.
they're winning. But you know, it's just do whatever you got to do to enjoy your game. And I mean, if that's ignoring a dry hitter, then freaking ignore them. Like, don't let people affect you. Don't let people troll you. The trolls have power because you let them. Just don't take the bait. It just isn't worth it.
So Singularity. So what's the inside info on the new alliance here with Tank and Maru?
Ah, there we go. Success.
Did you hear the question?
Yes, I heard the question. I heard you guys all talking, but I was not transmitting.
It's like being trapped in a box.
One of my biggest fears. Locked in syndrome. So the merge. Honestly,
Yeah.
It was a great decision, and it almost like revitalized my entire enjoyment of the game. It was really nice.
What led to the merger, and how did it happen?
All right, so the main detail is that the whole thing was TC oriented. We had a lot of players that are just like slacking off, or not really slacking off, rather, but just not online as often. We had more active players, and I don't exactly know how Maru came along, or Kobe came along. But AJ, and at that point now, Jim talked it out. We worked it out, and we picked our most active players, stuck them together, and then we took the lesser active players, stuck them in the old tank, now named Fire, and now we're working together to fine-tune everything nicely. So far, things are working out pretty good.
Well, that's good to hear. What made you guys decide to go from like Kobayashi Maru to Koba, and from Forged in Fire to just Fire?
Not exactly sure how that name change came out. I was asking, but I never got to see the answer. I was trying to come up with names. I was trying to fuse everything, but nothing made a lot of sense. I know we kept Koba to keep it Trek related, and I guess Fire just to, it's no longer tank after all. It's, Fire. I'm not really sure the finer details on that, on the name changes, at least.
Yeah, I just looked up one day and I saw it went from tank to fire. Started asking
Surprise!
questions.
It was a hell of a change.
And
Yeah,
so now
so are
we
you
have
guys full?
What was that?
Is Koba full?
Yeah, we are full at 75, but we have a couple people that are haven't played for a little while. It looks like a week off. We might kick them and bring some more active people on that weren't brought in from Now Fire. We have a couple people in Fire that would like to be in, and there's no room at the moment. The main reason we went with Kobayashi Maru was because they had one more seat than we did. That was our main reason for jumping over there.
So who's leading
Into
Fire?
76.
What?
Go ahead.
Who's leading Fire right now?
So right now, it's back and forth. It's going back and forth between AJ and Jim. So 1 week will be AJ, 1 week will be Jim, and we'll go back and forth between the two. Right now in Fire, we have AJ Jr., who is just there right now, maintaining everything.
Gotcha. So I'm happy to hear it's working out. Were there any hurt feelings about Fire no longer being on the map?
I believe we're looking to try to squeeze them into a single zone, ideally, if at all possible.
Well, we just gave away a zone to exceed because Jim said that Fire was leaving the map and Koba was finishing the die portion of the.
Yeah, we did a nice swap with die.
Yeah.
If not, then what will end up happening is we'll just rotate players, so they can get their fill of what the heck's it called? Particles.
Particles.
All right. Now, what about how many members are now in Fire?
Right now, Fire has about 46 people. There should have been more, so trying to fine tune figure out what's going on with that. I don't exactly know why there's 46 at the moment. AJ, I was asking AJ about it, but we never got to the solid answer. He was working on it himself.
Okay, because the reason I was asking is you have Exceed, which now has 58 members. So I was going to say, if you want to bring in one of those other smaller alliances.
There is speculation at the moment. I think they were looking at merging Fire with yet another alliance as well, but I forget who it was the first time, but it ended up falling through. But it's a theory that we're looking into doing.
All right. And
mergers are definitely the best way to get on the map.
Yes.
They're a headache. I got to hand it to AJ and Jim both, by the way, because a lot of work was done between the two, between writing everything down and fine-tuning and keeping everything on track. Thumbs up to them, both of them.
Yeah, that is impressive. And that seems like it's one of the best mergers I've seen. It definitely sounds like it went off better than, say, the Cube MCRN merger.
I remember when that happened. I didn't even know what happened until I just looked at it. I'm like, wait a second. Did this just happen? I was a little confused at first. It's like, when did this just happen?
It kind of caught a lot of people off guard, considering one was in one faction, the other was in the other faction, or coalition.
Hey, if it works, it works. That's all that matters, right?
Oh, by the way, Nona left the Dominion or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to segue into next.
That's news to me.
What are you guys? What's the status of the Federation right now? Are you guys still maintaining it, or is it going to dissolve?
It hasn't dissolved fully. There's still quite a few of us in there still together. We're not disbanded. A couple people left, but for the most part, at least half of us are bulking in there still. Some of us don't. We don't There's no point in us leaving. Why get rid of fall apart of the Federation? It's not hindering us, so we stick together.
Well, I mean, it's a good debate. Like earlier today, I was having a nice talk with Mistaken and Jolly because we've been internally discussing for a while as well of, do the coalitions make sense? It's been a long discussion for, many months of with everyone working together on territories in a council from both coalitions and from the independents. Does having these coalitions even make sense? Bold has fallen out, Dark has fallen out, now Nona's fallen out,
MBD
EQ, MBD, Die. It's just the mid-tier alliances kind of just wanting to make sure that we protect each other. Now, I look at it as we're all still friends with each other, and as a territory organization, all of us want to make sure that we're all protected so that we can keep trading systems with each other.
We can all get the most out of the systems we can get.
Exactly. So, and I think that the way that Dead and Tank have worked well together over these past, 7 months has really gone to show that
7 months already. Holy shit.
Yeah. Since we stopped fighting each other and started working together. And we were both in 2 separate coalitions. And it makes me think that maybe the time has come for the dissolution of the coalitions. Bearing in mind that we can still keep those chats together, because we've made friends and a larger, friendship and unison there. But
The way I kind of see it is, you're basically making a statement that you basically trust and agree that we can all work together. We don't have to have a coalition to help everybody get on the board and make sure everybody gets what they need for their players.
Exactly.
I mean, there's, and if I could go back in time, I may have done things a little bit differently in the very beginning and just tried to, kind of do the 1 versus 1 kind of thing. I think it would have been more fun.
1v1 definitely would have been a lot more fun. And you know what? Not for nothing. If you want to have the sport of it, I'm sure you can find at least one zone we can all just play with when 1v1 each other just to see how it goes out.
Well, for smaller alliances, sure, but the people that hold territory, you'd have to drop it all to go after that.
That's true. You can't quite do that.
Yeah, we made that mistake when we.
I forgot about that factor.
You got to remember, I had a conversation with Red Dye where he was upset that his people had gotten real soft and he wanted a challenge. And he and I came and made a deal saying if Dead challenged Die, we'd have to drop our system to do so. So if we were to do so and win, we would get both of those territories that Die had, and Die would get Clefasky until such time that they were ready to do their trade with Tank, and we would give up what we gotten from Die for Tank to have it and figure that out. And if we lost, of course, we'd go back to Clefasky, but we agreed that whoever lost, the winner would help that person get back Clefasky to make sure that no one actually had any loss.
And that's what you call good sportsmanship.
Exactly. Of course, it got complicated when AK decided to take BTG and try and take Clefasky from us when we were trying to reclaim it.
Nothing like a little curveball.
The whole AK debacle was frustrating for everybody because every day or two he would change his tune and start asking for different things or get impatient and do this. And then just very, very impatient dude. Extremely impatient. He was all over the freaking place.
Indeed.
So if he had just chilled out, he would have got his wish. He could do a 1 versus 1 right now without really worrying about anybody getting in the way. But
I said to him, any other week you want to do a 1 versus 1, that's fine. It's just that we already had this arrangement with Die that they were going to be there, and the only people that was going to be there was going to be Die.
Well, I also heard
until he asked Crasham to come help him out, at which point I said no.
Exactly. So he was just playing both sides and not telling the whole story or the whole truth. And
AK ends up just being. It sounds like he's just the wild card.
yeah, and you know what? If I wish him all the best, and it sounds like he's quit the game, and I hope he's happier for it.
Of course, you always want to wish everyone the best happiness. You never want to be that guy. You're terrible.
Yeah.
Random question before we go too far anywhere else. There's this one territory I never really asked about, and I've always been thinking about. It sits just outside of all the other territory. Why is that never used? What's that thing sitting there for? What's the purpose? What's the point?
You are not allowed to take it over. I believe that Scopely had wanted to make it a system you could take, but it never happened. It's not something you can take.
Complete waste of space.
Pretty
It
much.
literally
I mean,
is.
you can mine in it, I believe.
No,
Really?
you can't.
Is it?
Well,
Is
it
there
says
one?
there's a takeover that happens once a week, but there's no chance of you getting any 2 or 3-star territories.
Still be
If
great for
you do
Right,
somebody.
but has I somebody told me that they couldn't join the takeover, that somebody tried and they couldn't.
Oh, it's possible. There's a timer on it. There's one in 5 days, 13 hours. I mean,
Well,
I have no
somebody
idea
without a
if you can do it.
territory, it would make sense to me that if you are able to take it, you should. Why not? If you don't have a territory at all, why wouldn't you take that?
Exactly. My thoughts
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Hey,
It's
Cam.
only got
you
one
were-
ISO 1 in it, but it's still something.
I mean,
Well,
I think somebody should get a hold of somebody that doesn't have a system and see if they can take it.
Kemso, you're in the chat room there. Did you, when you were in IMM, did you guys ever try and see if you could take that system? We'll wait and see if he answers that in the chat room.
Yeah,
How
you
do we
can
know if he
type it.
answers?
You can type
There's a
it in the
fireside
chat.
chat room that people can ask questions and stuff in from the audience.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Welcome
Listen, I'm not here because I'm smart.
to a semi-professional adaptation of a podcast. But yeah, I've always been curious about that as well. I mean, I don't see why you couldn't take it over, even if you can't really do anything there.
Well,
Yeah, it could be bugged.
isn't there ISO in there?
ISO 1.
Yeah, it's 3 ISO 1 systems.
I mean, that's still 3 systems you can mine for ISO 1.
And you don't
I
have
mean,
to worry about going into the other one.
To me, that's a no-brainer, but whatever. I mean, if
And
I didn't have a territory, I would absolutely take it. Why not?
It
It's
has
better than
perks
nothing.
too.
Has a hostile enhancer, 25% hostile enhancer.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just shocked that nobody's taken it, but whatever.
After 7
I'm
months.
I mean,
right now.
somebody told me you couldn't take it, but
That's what I thought I heard.
I don't know if that's true. I haven't tried it myself.
I heard
and
that too.
So I don't know.
You know what? I'll ask AJ to take Fire and see if they can attempt to do a takeover and see what happens.
Yeah.
There you
In
go.
5 days, they can try it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to see if I can go for it, and I'll let y'all know.
There you go.
Well, everyone's going to know when if it works or not, because you'll see, holy shit, Fire's taking it over. Everybody, let's go. It's a party.
Let's see. The first system has a bunch of takeover takeover nodes and 3 ISO 1 nodes at 1,000 per node.
That's kind of small.
Yeah.
Yeah, stick a
Yeah,
Meridian
it's
on
like
that. That's some real active mining right there.
Yeah.
And Meridian would take it like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Depends on the tier, but yeah. Let's see. The second system is a lot more. It's also just 3 1,000 ISO 1 nodes.
Regardless, it's better than 0 zip and zilch. So
Well, it depends. If there's no, I haven't seen any planets there that you could put a base around.
Really? I didn't think about that either.
I'm
No
checking
planets.
the third one right now. Yeah, there's no
There's no planets.
I
What
mean,
a
maybe
waste.
people have thought about it and just decided that it's not even worth it. But
Well, there's no planets, and each system only has 1,000 nodes.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, it sounds like trash.
yeah.
Yeah,
But still,
I think it
even
was
if
like
you
a
only
test
took it
system.
over just for the buff, I mean, it's still something.
Literally.
Yeah.
It's a place
Yeah.
you can mine by yourself, and a place you can
I
have a
mean,
buff.
It
But there's no-
cannot. It could not hurt. That's all.
Well,
I'm
there's
saying.
no refining. There's no refining option, so it's not going to help with your refines. It's not going to give you any particles. It would literally just give you the 25% weapon damage on hostile bonus, and
Well,
9 1,000 ISO nodes.
better than nothing.
Yeah.
Barely better than nothing, but it's better than nothing. But discussing the buffs, though, I feel like maybe Dead was a little slow on this pickup. I'm not sure how much faster you guys were, but the Black Fleet Memorial barge stuff. I don't know if you guys still have that activated in your territories. I was just running the numbers today, realizing, I stopped collecting this because when I was upgrading my sarcophagus, I never actually noticed it, and then I went and looked at the notes on it and saw that it only needed 1 uncommon, 1 rare, and 1 epic, and I have like 100 uncommon and 50 rare.
Did
And I'm
everyone
like,
go silent, or is it just me?
no, it's the. Can you not hear me?
I can hear you.
Sing, can you hear me? Then we lost Sing again.
Hello?
Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
here we go.
So I guess we lost him.
Oh boy,
Yeah, I heard him for a second.
Oh,
I heard.
there we go. I hear people now.
Okay,
Yep.
cool.
What
So
was that?
That was all
stop,
you.
Stop
all
sticking
me?
your
Yeah.
sticking your phone in the microwave. Maybe you'll hear us.
But that's how you charge your phone faster.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so the Black Fleet Memorial barge stuff, you only need 1 of each. I'm sure everyone's been running it for a long time.
Yeah, and I've only ever gotten 1, the green one, the rare, not the common one.
Yeah, well, you only need 1.
Yeah,
So
I need
how
a
many-
rare one to upgrade, I believe, now.
Yeah, but that's level locked.
Oh, that's right.
So,
I don't even know.
but the thing is, if you only need 1, no one ever noticed you only needed 1. How many have people gotten? Surely
I'm
everyone
sure a ton.
probably.
I click
Surely
the
everyone.
button every once in a while just because I'm clicking and clicking and clicking. I'm not paying attention.
Yeah,
I don't even have a sarcophagus, and I bought a few.
yeah, I got a few before I got my sarcophagus. That's
I
why
upgraded the Sarco the very first day I got it, and I haven't touched it since. I don't even think I've used it.
I only upgraded it during when we were going against Die. I had just gotten it, and I got it to tier 5 to make sure that it would actually be able to withstand some of those jellyfishes.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
it
I
I
actually
was-
did pretty well.
For what it is, it works. Like you park it on a node, and it's hard to get off of it. But other than that,
Not unless you have smooth Saladin. Jeez.
it's just such
I was
a.
talking about the concept of one of those, though. Like, so they're sitting around like some board room one day, and they're thinking, "We got to come up with a new ship, right? This ship is going to be really good at just sitting there, right? It's just going to sit in one spot, like real good, and like people are going to pay all this money for it, and it's going to be great." And then they did it. They actually did it, and they're all laughing about it all the way to the bank.
Yeah.
Especially now that people like aren't even really using them because
Well,
it's not really a lot.
people were never really using them to begin with. Yeah, the biggest laugh is the people that spent $100 on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a lot of people.
Well, a lot of people in Nona.
Good thing none of them are here listening to us.
Hey, we're not the only ones. Dark's got just as many spenders as we do.
True.
Cook,
That is true.
Cook, you bought yours, didn't you?
No,
You
100%
got
free.
yours to the nine at a time or whatever. The nine.
Yeah, I did the
or,
cosmic cleanup.
Yep, I'm getting them like 9 at a time or however many.
I
I'll
got
build
it
them
out
eventually.
during the events when it came out. I got about 45 of them during the arc when it came out, and then the rest was all through the cosmic cleanup.
We had some guys buy it in the very beginning. They had it on day one.
Yeah,
I mean, I bought it, of course.
Yeah, it's an ugly looking ship too. I mean,
I
it's
don't know.
nasty.
I think it looks nicer than the Meridian.
What are you talking about? The
Oh,
Meridian's badass.
Yeah, the Meridian is kind of a nice ship.
It looks cool.
I mean, the front
I
of
like
it
it.
looks good.
It is nice to see a ship that actually looks better than a Horizon with a paint job.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it is very Horizon-ish, but
Not the
much better.
front.
Much better than the other ships.
The front actually looks like it does something.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish they would come out with some 4-star ships that aren't just like the other ships, but like bigger. You know, like
What?
like the Tylum or whatever it's called. It
Phylum.
looks like the Thylum kind of looks like a Gladius.
It is a Gladius with a cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my biggest complaint about all the 4-star ships, is they literally just like made them little differences and made them bigger or whatever. And it's
Yeah,
like,
the
come on.
Kelvin's a Saladin with a second with a engineering hall.
And I mean, I get it. I understand why they did that, but still.
Well, that's why I said that the Enterprise A could easily just be changed into an Enterprise D, and the Tribune could be changed into the Romulan warlord of the TNG era, and they would change up the ships a little bit while still keeping them the same.
It would be nice if they came out with some new ones now that a lot of people are starting to get up there.
Here's the reason all these ships are the way they are, is because they made these ships and they were in the game. All the 4-star ships were in the game, like when the game was released. So they literally took the models from the very, very beginning of the game. So
when people were years from ever getting one, or even had the thought of anyone ever getting one, because they didn't know what the game was going to turn out to be.
Yeah, but they knew that they needed to sell that people were going to want the Enterprise. And if they were doing all 3 factions, they had to go and do all 3 faction ships. But the biggest problem with that is Star Trek itself, as a property, does not have a whole bunch of content related to Romulan and Klingon like they do Federation. I mean, if you look at the Eagle Moss ship collection, there's like 500 ships and 400 of them are Federation ships.
yeah. But still, there's just so many different things out there. I mean, they could add Cardassians. Not Kardashian.
You'll find with Kardashian.
But I mean, there's all kinds of things they could add to this game. I don't know.
Oh, undoubtedly. I mean, I honestly, with the way that they've been talking about Cardassians during this arc, I felt like they were going to be adding a Cardassian faction to the left of Federation space.
And they still might. There's another arc coming, isn't there?
MM says the Dominion is coming soon. Through the wormhole.
You think Dominion?
Well, I will say when they go.
I mean, then if they do that, it's just strange. The only content we've seen is a bunch of Federation stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't added. I mean, they have other races here that people would love to play with, and they haven't released a god darn thing.
No, I mean, I know we were discussing before TNG started, that they could easily do a TOS movie arc. They could do TOS Klingons, TOS Romulans. I mean, there was so much more they could do before they even went to the next generation to add more aliens and content to the other.
But I totally get why they moved it along to TNG, because it's definitely a more popular option.
True, but
Yeah.
and now that they did it, they can after TNG, they can before they go on to DS9, they could go and do Klingons and Romulans in the TNG era.
A Voyager would be kind of cool too. Give us like a deep space, you know?
They'll get to that one, but that's definitely gonna. I definitely think that when they get to DS9, they're gonna introduce like level 60 to the game with a wormhole, and then
I would love to see the wormhole, and then we have a whole nother map. Like we're
exactly, and then they're gonna Voyager, and Voyager will be through the wormhole. It won't be Gamma Quadrant; it'll be the Delta Quadrant.
And
the way to figure that out.
And no, like 13-minute warp times. You know, you can just go into the wormhole and come out the other side.
Well, one thing that I actually just learned about from Handy actually was about from you or from Mistaken. I learned about the warp research that increases or decreases the warp time exponentially in the territory research.
If you learned it today, it probably was from Mistaken, but
it was a couple of days ago, I think.
Oh well, we might have been talking about it. But yeah, I mean you got it. Like there's a whole bunch of warp research, and it cuts your time down so much. Yeah, we were talking about that Sunday, I believe.
Yeah, and that's in the new territory research spray. From what I heard, it makes like a 10-minute warp time into like a 2-minute warp time or something like that.
It's not quite that much, but yeah, essentially.
Just going to do my swarms is irritating now.
It's like a 200% gain or something.
Yeah, I think it was 200%
for the prime warp speed, and then there's a bunch of other research for warp speed as well. So,
yeah, I mean, they're more primes though.
As soon as you see it, do it, because oh my god, it saves an incredible amount of time. And I don't know about you guys, but time is money, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now that's a territory one, so it doesn't need like G4, G5 stuff. What's it need?
I mean, I don't think I'm going to be able to see it anymore because I've already done all that stuff, but
Hello, is this working now?
Yes, it's working.
Yeah.
For the last 10 minutes, I've been talking, and I'm just realizing nobody can hear me.
Just talking to yourself?
Yeah, really. You know,
like, awesome. Why are they ignoring me?
I'm gonna jump back. Yeah, right. I'm gonna jump back about 5 minutes to the Meridian. I don't even have the Meridian yet, and I already bought the skin.
Why on earth would you do that?
I know I'm not the only one who did it.
Well, because you can actually, it opens up that new refinery, even if you don't have the ship.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but that new refinery is debatable.
Why is it debatable?
Well, a lot of people. I really don't mind it too much, but I've been seeing a lot of flack about the cost on it.
It is very expensive. I don't know about you guys, but I need that ISO emulsion, and it is just sucking it dry.
Yeah.
But absolutely, on that new research, do the absolute minimum pull. Do not do anything higher than that. You're shooting yourself in the foot if you do.
You mean on the Ryzen refinery?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do more than one pull.
Yeah, I've been doing full pulls on the ISO emulsions though.
ISO emulsion do full, but on the ISO Ryzen, it's gonna basically take away.
Ryzen?
Yeah, it's resin.
I'm gonna say it's probably resin.
Yeah, he
whatever.
He pronounces everything different.
It's basically gonna take like 75% If you're refining 75 of your total available refine of ISO 1 and ISO 2, that's gonna, if you do a max refine on the ricin, whatever, that's gonna be what it costs. And then if you have ISO 3, that little 15 to 20% is all you're gonna have left to spare.
So does it take your raw or does it take your refined?
It takes your refined.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's why Handy and I are saying do the minimum pull, not the double pull.
No, definitely.
When it comes
I'm not even doing the away missions that cost refined ISO.
I'm not either.
Screw that. I need that stuff.
And when it comes to if you're doing the ISO 1, ISO 2 refinery, go ahead and do the 4 chest pull if you can afford it. But the reason people are getting upset is basically if you have to go and spend all that time mining ISO now. Before it's like, hey, you can just stock up on all this ISO, and it's one less thing you have to worry about for like a month or something. But if you're doing those four chest pulls, it's gonna cut that in half.
Yeah, but this is a temporary thing also. I mean, once the Meridian's maxed out, you'll be able to dump all that into research.
Somebody has a max Meridian. I saw it. I don't know where it was. I lied. It was in Nona territory. Someone's got a max Meridian already.
Well, of course.
I draw hit the floor. I'm like, oh, fuck, already?
A few people do.
God damn.
And honestly, that's really cool. Nice looking.
Mine's already tier 8.
Mine's tier 5. Mine's tier 5. I ran out of ISO.
We work quickly over here. What do you want from me?
Mine's tier 0.
There's a lot. I've seen a lot of 900K ones. I can't tell you what level they were, but people want theirs leveled up. It's easy to level up with miners like that.
Honestly,
really nice.
I could have maxed it out if it wasn't for the ISO, because it is very cheap to upgrade. Aside from the ISO, it takes just shy of 1 million ISO from what I saw.
Raw ISO or refined ISO?
Refined.
Well, I better get my ass in gear.
Yeah, that's the big problem. Is Handy's been saying for months. It's for the territory research alone. You're looking at like 2 years of ISO refining, and now they just threw another million ISO at you.
Yes, it's
right.
It's changed a lot of the math, but
and that's not even
a great concept. Scopely invented something.
We were looking at the particles too, and the particles were a lot less time.
Yeah.
So it was only like a year, basically a year, if you're getting everything. And you definitely had enough to do all of the research, all the way up to level 50. But gosh darn it, the emulsion would take a lot longer. So I think that's why they made that change. Kind of speed it up for everybody.
Yeah, but it doesn't change the emotion. It just adds more to how much emotion you need.
Well, no, but you can now refine more emulsion per day.
Yeah, true.
Which decreases the amount of time it's going to take to do all the research.
Yay, less time.
Oh, so
yeah, but I still wish it was
the
treated
ship
more like a prime. It should have been treated more like prime refinery, where it adds a chest to each of the numbers.
You know what they should do?
That would have been nice, but they did.
Here's an idea.
Oh,
if we get a bonus
open up
refinery.
chest?
If we get a bonus refinery for the regular stuff, why don't we get a bonus refinery for the ISO? Why not?
Hey, you know what? We don't actually get a bonus refinery for all the regular stuff. I mean, level 30.
Well, I mean the others. What the hell is it called? The mats. There we go.
Materials.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yep. I heard, I'm not 100% sure, we'll have to wait for Handy on that those prime refinery works for the G4 mats after level 40 and up. Level 39 was just the G3. level 19 and below is just the G2. And the big thing is that I'm sure everyone in the G4 community would love to have would be a prime refinery for ship parts, long before Isogen. Because the thing is, with the Isogen, it's not even an RNG thing; it's a guaranteed thing. You go and do those tests, you are guaranteed this exact amount every single day. With the refinery, that's not how it is. With the refinery, it's
a gamble.
Exactly, it's a huge gamble. You throw everything at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, a gamble that oftentimes gives you the middle finger and laughs at you in the face.
Yes.
You spent 35,000. Here's nothing but common.
Yeah, I got 200 uncommon pulls. One for crystal, one for gas during that event. Like, I was happy about that.
Oh,
that's like half a research.
Pin a rose on your nose.
Now, they all weren't like that. But I was happy to spend 10% of my raw that I had saved up. They haven't had one of those in a while. I've been waiting for that for so long.
Agreed.
But there's really now if you spent a lot of your raw on that event, especially you think about people starting wars with you, is make sure you have a lot of that raw saved up.
I have.
Because you never know when somebody's going to start a war with you, and then you can't mine. So you want to be able to, use that what little you get from the refinery, without having to go out and mine every day. Because there's other ways to complete your dailies.
Yeah, I have tons and tons and tons of raw. And then there's one mission that wants you to give them several million raw ore.
Yeah.
I forget which one that was, but really?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'll keep that. You can keep that mission.
I think I completed that mission. I might have. I was desperate to get to my faction lock. I was trying to get the Romulans to not hate me anymore.
You'd be surprised how many people I see that are level 39 and the Klingons still hate them,
Triple lock is the way to go.
I locked that already. Yeah, I can't even remember what it's like to have them hunt me until I go to augment space.
And they start going to pea shooters.
Yeah, I just use the little fake out trick, bring an envoy with me and bring that in a couple seconds early. And then they go after him, and then I don't have to worry about it. I bring an envoy just in case I screw it up, then I can just suicide the envoy.
Don't need that. See you later.
So the last thing I wanted to talk about before we get into the Q&A and then end the night is, since we're running short on time, we'll talk about this a little quickly. Rev and DJ put out a video today talking about their list to 41. Obviously, I'm on my way to 41. But I thought the timing of this video was really good. Mistaken Silence and I were talking earlier today about how we were comparing these lists to, Rev Deuce is currently 39. He's been there a while. He's going to be there a while longer because he's still far away from getting to his objectives. DJ is level 41 already. He's working on his 42 and getting this stuff done. So one's looking at what he wants to do. One's looking at what he's done already and is working on currently. And talking to Mistaken Silence, he's someone who's level 44. He's gone through this already and so we talked about his mistakes and what he agreed with and what he disagreed with. So I'm just going to run down the list real quick and talk about how much of this stuff we agree with and how much is more of a personal opinion kind of thing. First of all was both of them said that you should have about 20 to 30, more closer to the 30 billion steel. 30
billion steel.
Yeah.
I think the most I ever had was 2 billion, and I was like, yay!
Well, I already started on my Ops 41 a couple months ago because it's like a 5-month build.
Are you kidding me?
No, I have another 77 days on it. I'm just working on, building everything up and getting myself ready. But this way, I didn't have to speed it up.
I missed when you can alliance hop and take full advantage of helps.
That was so nice. That's how I got to 39. And then, like a week after I hit 39, they stopped that. I'm just like, damn! I got so lucky.
I did not.
I literally had gotten my ops from 100 days down to 10 from jumping to a bunch of alliances, even if they did turn me down.
I voted against that in their stupid little survey, and they still didn't listen.
So, it's not the same game as it used to be with the whole camping and finishing out your research and doing all that type of stuff that we used to suggest to people.
39 though is 39 is a place to camp at to build that research, especially the efficiency research and the officer research, and you want to get your stuff done because this stuff is expensive once you get past 39.
I'm hauling ass to 39 as we speak.
I mean, the ops for 40 build was 2.2 billion. My scrapyard to go from 38 to 39 was 1.1 billion still. For a scrapyard. Yeah, so to think that to go the next 2 levels and entering the 40s is going to be 35 billion steel for all those buildings you need to do, because to go from 41 to 42, you have to pretty much have everything at 41 aside from your C, D, E, and F generators. Everything else has to be 41 to go to 42, which is when you can build your first real G4 ship.
Those generators are the most useless thing in the entire game.
Yeah, well, they're like material and resource, basically holes that you just throw everything into.
Them in the refinery, yeah.
Garbage.
So
yeah, I get a little bit out of my refinery. Like sometimes it gets me over the edge.
the refinery doesn't give you. The refinery literally offers no benefits. There's nothing in the descriptions. If you look in the description, it's literally blank. The refinery offers you absolutely zilch. If you go,
you mean the actual building? Building the refinery.
Yeah,
and
because the refinery itself is based on your ops level. Once you hit ops level 20, you can start building G3.
Yeah, that's when it changes. Your drops start changing is when you clear that ops. Like I noticed the change.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the refinery level, which is bullshit. And all right, so number 1 was get that raw steel up to about 30 billion. Number 2 was max and scrap a Mayflower, 1 Mayflower.
I got the max Mayflower.
That helps you out with getting some primes done and gets you started if you're building like a jellyfish. The next thing on that I've already done, I agree with that. That works out fine. The second thing they said was max and scrap. Rev said a D3 and a legionary. DJ just said a legionary. I've already done a D3. It's helpful, but it's no big deal, I think. I could be wrong. Obviously, I'm not going to do the legionary anytime soon because I need the ore for my auger and I need the credits for my Valdor. Next was they both said to tier an Enterprise. Rev said to tier 9. DJ said to tier 8, and they both said a tier 8 auger. To be frank, I don't. If you build,
I believe you should absolutely max it out eventually, but you don't have to have it maxed out to get to 41, 42, or even 46 for that matter.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I don't see what the point of maxing those out at 39 is. If anything, the refining,
you don't need to.
The efficiency rate's going to go much higher as you go higher, and you're not going to need as much G3 for anything else.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have to upgrade something to efficiently play your game, then don't. Wait. Essentially.
Yeah.
And here I am
However,
dreaming to have a max
all of
in the Enterprise.
But all I can say about any level is research.
Yes.
I couldn't agree more.
And
They do
every level, the first thing you should do is, as soon as you get research unlocked, you should do your efficiency research. It's the absolute first stop.
Yes.
Before anything else.
Efficiency research, discovery warp range research, personal favorite.
Speaking of discovery, real quick question: is it worth maxing your discovery?
I don't know if you have to max it, but
It
definitely
gets more efficient as you level it.
Because mine's at level mine's at tier 8, and I'm like, do I want to spend the ore?
It's such a small amount; it's no big deal.
Oh yeah, maybe for you.
Well,
it's asking for a lot for
I
me.
would say don't bother. I mean, just look at the difference between tier 8 and tier 9 and what it means for you, basically.
It means
just make a decision.
That's what I'm thinking. It's just itching at me. Just
And also, like, do you need ore somewhere else right now?
My auger.
Yeah. So if you're looking at putting it into your auger, and you need it to go into your auger, then
yeah,
that's where
what
you
I'm
go
thinking.
first.
And there's a research for the warp range anyway, so why? It's gonna boost me by 1 point, 2 points, maybe. I don't know.
15.
The warp engine, not the research.
Oh.
Yeah, that the research is amazing. The warp engine, to my remembrance, not very much.
Well, the warp engine's very good for the bonuses of it increases your warp range and it increases your efficiency.
See, I didn't know about
the efficiency is the big one.
Exactly.
Would be the main reason I would say, yeah, go ahead and max it. I don't remember how much the efficiency changes. And then I assume everybody already knows that you should absolutely run the efficient officers.
Yeah, Colbert and Stamets.
Always.
Yeah, of course. Like, those are the only officers you should have on your disco. And
yeah,
don't use it without those officers because you're just wasting resources.
Seriously.
But I just assumed that was a given, but you never know.
I wish they didn't put them all the way at the bottom of all of your officers. Like, that's what I want to have, like hotkeys.
I would love to have hotkeys.
I'd love to have the hotkeys too, but if you go to group, then it's not that far off because it's just past the next gen crew.
Oh, so they stack them that way.
The TOS crew.
Good to know.
That's how I go. I also have a dedicated dry dock for my disco.
Yeah, me too.
I have
so
two
dedicated. Are you at the bottom of your list here? We're hitting about time.
Okay.
We can keep talking, but we're gonna have to close it out.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. That's for editing purposes, anyways. Yeah. So they said tear up those augers in the Enterprise. They both kind of said screw the D4. Rev said get your Franklin A to tier 2 at least. I think you should have your Franklin maxed at tier 3, ready to go to tier 4, because every level counts with the Franklin A.
I would say just level it up enough for you to be able to do your daily for Swarm, and that's as far as I would go.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So that's probably why they're saying tier 2.
Yeah, but level 39 is tier 3.
I'd probably shoot for tier 3 then.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, if you have the resources, do it. If you don't have them and you need it for something else, then don't do it.
Well, tier 3
it's probably going to be an individual person sort of thing.
Tier 3 isn't expensive to get to with the Franklin A. Tier 4 gets expensive.
Oh, yeah.
And the repair cost is expensive.
Yep. That's another thing to take into account. This repair cost goes up every tier a lot.
Now,
it's a multi-generational ship. Anyway, on to the next.
Rev said tier 5 ISS Jelly. This is something that Miss disagreed with as well. because yes, you do want to get a jelly for the Jelly Pursuit event, which he says is amazing. It's like
Yeah, you absolutely are going to want that jelly.
yeah,
It's a must-have ship. You just cannot not have a jelly. So whatever you got to do, you got to have a jelly.
but you don't have to upgrade it if you're going for like the Valdor.
Sure. If you're going for the Valdor, I wouldn't upgrade it because you're going to want to take all that ISS Jellyfish Brawl and all these other events where they're giving out a whole bunch of materials. Like I saved up 200,000 uncommon Explorer ship parts over the course of a year from all those ISS Jellyfish events.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah. They
That's a big
gave
number.
out a crap ton of them, and they're
Did you
continuing
use that on
to
the
do so.
Valdor? Did you use that
Absolutely.
on or a different ship?
Well, I did not use it. I used it on the jelly. I think mine's at like tier 13 or something. But
Isn't the max tier 12?
or maybe 10. Maybe I'm at 9 or 10. I don't remember. Sorry. I don't remember where it's at, but I think you're right. I think max is tier 12, so I'm totally mistaken.
The next thing that he said was max the Vidar and the Stella. Vidar, I would definitely say max because you want to have those nanoprobes for independent credits and faction credits for your G4 ship.
I agree with that.
Which also means you want to make sure you do that rogue research to maximize your independent credits from the so make sure you get that done and max that Vidar. The Stella, it's something that you want to be maxing and scrapping constantly so that you can keep doing those researches. Max research for level 39 is an M103 count. You want to definitely get to partner so that you can unlock the G4 repair research. We touched on that earlier. That's so those are important. So that's why you want to keep maxing and scrapping it.
Getting my second Stella was the best decision ever.
Yeah, I think everybody should have more than one.
Yes.
Yep, and throughout your Stella tree, there are all kinds of efficiency researches, and they're all hidden in there along the way, as you're getting further and further down the tree.
Yeah, and in
That's what's so
fact,
important about
I
that
would highly
Stella.
suggest the newer the research tree, the more cost efficient it is. So if you're gonna go do efficiency research, go to the newer trees before you go to the older ones.
Yes, that's
They're going to cost you a lot less.
Yeah. And then next that they both had was all buildings to 39 plus, aside from the C plus generators. So generators C, D, E, F, G, whatever. Those you don't have to worry about. Everything before that, you need to have to level 39 because you're going to have it to level 41 to go on to 42.
Right.
Makes sense.
And then last is the research trees again, making sure you have the outline.
By the way, I don't know if they mentioned this, but it's important. The reason they're saying to have all this done at level 39 is because you get a lot. You stop getting the 3-star mats for events and everything else. You start getting G4. So you're going to get a lot less G3 mats in the game once you go past 39.
Which is probably why they're saying to have the epic ships so high, because you're not going to be able to get the mats to get them higher that high.
No, you'll still get the mats. I mean, there's ship scrapping. There's all kinds of ways to get it, and there are still events that give it to you as well. But you don't get as much, is what I'm saying. So
yeah,
that's why they're saying to get all this stuff to 39 before you hit the 40 button.
all right. But yeah, and then the territory away mission, and galaxy research trees. You want to make sure you get those as close to max as possible, with focus, as we said earlier, on the efficiency stuff. And that's everything that they said.
Pretty much covers it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions?
I don't think so. I have none.
All right. Thank
Anybody
you very
raise their
much,
hand?
everyone. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming to this week's Fireside. We crammed a lot into an hour and a half, and it was an awesome show. Thank you, Handy. Thanks, Tech. Thanks, Sing. Nice having all of you here. And we'll see you again next week.